I could go on for days telling you all of this and still not tell you enough. It's heartbreaking.
Gail Martin was in the middle of chaos after Hurricane Katrina. But she was nowhere near the wind, the rain, or the floods. Instead, she was inside a building in an office park in Fort Worth, Texas, on the front lines of what may be the worst disaster response in American history. Martin was a loan officer with the Small Business Administration.
No, they cannot handle another Katrina any more than they could handle it the day it happened.
A year-long investigation by the Associated Press into the SBA's Katrina response reveals 55% of people who applied for loans were turned down. Only 60% of the money the agency did approve was actually paid out. And thousands of borrowers have failed to pay back hundreds of millions of dollars. Despite its name, the SBA is responsible for long-term disaster recovery for businesses and individuals. But unlike other agencies like FEMA, the story of SBA's post-Katrina failures has been largely untold.
Heck, you just lost your home, your family's moved away, your jobs are turned upside down, and you don't want somebody who's supposed to be helping you hassling you.
Karen Bazile spent almost a year fighting the agency for the loan she used to repair her Chalmette, Louisiana home. She's one of scores of borrowers and former SBA loan officers interviewed by the AP. Their stories of dysfunction are eerily similar. Loan officers pushed to clear a logjam of applications too quickly, often at the expense of homeowners like Bazile.
It was very hard just to deal with the stuff that was coming out of their mouths.
These people had no idea of how hopeless it was to try and get their funding for them within the time expectations that they had. We couldn't. I couldn't do it. No one could do it.
Another former loan officer, Jay Young, says he was ordered by his supervisors to withdraw loan applications if borrowers couldn't supply reams of complex paperwork, much of it lost to floodwaters, within 48 hours.
I know I saw a lot of people who should have been helped through the process that were not helped.
Basically, they wanted you to process 4 to 5 loans a day, but they had no concern for whether those were approvals, whether those were declines, or whether those were withdrawn.
Because it takes just minutes to withdraw or reject a loan application, insiders say some loan officers took the easy way out. Insiders also talk of contests with cash prizes for the officers who processed the most loans, and weekend pizza parties where supervisors would clear out the backlog of loan applications. They called that Sign-Off Sunday.
And this is the main dining room.
The system worked for some. Eric Schmitz is a former Commodore at the Fairhope Yacht Club in Alabama. He presided over a $4 million project to construct a new club after the old one was destroyed in the storm. $1.5 million came from the SBA.
You got to understand that we have people from all walks of life. I mean, we've got lawyers, we've got people who, loan officers and all this, who all knew pretty much the inside tracks on this stuff, and they took care of it for us.
During the investigation, a team of AP reporters analyzed SBA data. Inside the names and numbers, startling trends emerged about the role wealth and even race played in the distribution of loan money. In New Orleans, the mostly white Lakeview neighborhood had the highest ratio of approvals to rejections. The neighborhoods with the lowest approval rates, mostly black sections of the city, like the lower 9th Ward. Martin says she could see the pattern too.
There was always a tragedy on the other side of that phone, and this family needed this help. But we couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
I have several good friends who gave up, and I tried to give them pep talks. I said, you know, this is the federal government. They're offering this to everyone. Don't let the system beat you.
Bazile tells of faxing documents and forms to various loan officers, only to find out the faxes were lost inside the Fort Worth office.
You had to keep track because it seemed like they lost stuff, and you would have to fax them over and over again, 50 and 70 pages.
People would tell me all of my papers were in the courthouse and they had been washed away. So I don't even have the papers to go and to get for you.
Either they would be screaming or they would be crying. They would be begging in every situation. They were saying, please don't do this to me. Please, I have fought for all these months.
We never got reimbursed for any of this, ever, 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 ever.
For Bazile, recalling the process hurts as much as the storm itself.
My antique lamps, my father's grandmother's china closet, and try to put a price on all this. I'm sorry.
The agency refused to respond on camera to this investigation. In a phone interview, the head of the SBA's Office of Disaster Assistance told a team of AP reporters that the agency isn't proud of what happened during the 2005 Gulf hurricane season. But the agency is faster and more customer-friendly when it comes to disaster loan processing. They'll have a chance to prove it. The agency is once again accepting loan applications from the Gulf Coast in the wake of the BP oil spill. Jason Bronis, The Associated Press, New Orleans.